I have 2 drinks tonight. We'll see if anybody actually joins this live stream. Warrior series wrap party. I have a cat, apparently. The 2 drinks tonight. One is alcohol, one is water, and you can determine which one is which, of course. This is one of the drinks. Stormy. I'm prepared with a squirt bottle to keep the animals out of the way. Oh, Julia. Hi, love. Yeah, one of these is drinks. One of these is alcohol and one of these is water. And I wish that the bigger one was alcohol. Oh my goodness. There's no Alan tonight to monitor all of the animals, so it's basically just me fending for myself. I'm trying to think. Last time I did a series wrap party, let's see. I was not married yet, I don't think. It would have been, maybe I was. It's been a year. Yeah, I was married because I did it for Soul Obscured, for the last book in the Soul series. I have another cat and this one. This is happening. Okay. She'll probably stay there for the entire thing. Till the dog comes. Hi. Oh, he's off screen. Animals. Can't get rid of them. So you might as well live with them. Oh my goodness. I know, it's release day. It's release day. We're so happy. I'll give it a little bit. See what people are up to. I did go a little bit early just to make sure. You gotta set things up for this, which is dumb. But there are so many different options. I'm gonna see. Oh, you can ask questions. Now, see, when I'm early, I can check out all of this fun stuff. Oh, let's share photos. That's nice. Change colors. Too much. It's too much stress to try to do different things. No, I don't want to do that. See, now I have fur everywhere. Oh, go live in a room. What is that? That's weird. Oh, hi, baby. And there's Berkey. Oh, this could very well be a bust for a live. I have a bunch of stuff planned, though. Sort of talking about things, having fun. And, I mean, worst case, you get to watch however long of a cat sitting on my lap. Just being adorable. Because it's what we all want in life. I must have prefer. Sorry, buddy. Hi. No. I have all my questions again. I think I had people talk about or ask questions beforehand. But, oh my goodness. So, Warrior series, 10 books. Oh my goodness. Insane. I'm not even sure how it became 10 books. Because when I thought maybe I'd start off with, yes, tell us about the series. It started not as a series, but as a single book. I had this idea that it was going to be Kahiro's story. It was called, the original title was The Innocent Named Warrior, and it was going to be her story through this whole thing. And so I started writing it as just a single book. And so when I got about halfway through, I think I just reached this point where it was like there needed to be more characters involved in this story. And there were more characters involved, and we needed to hear their side of the story. And so instead of just doing it from one perspective, I decided to pick up 2 more. So that became Baden and Rish's perspective. And with those 3, I kind of discovered that they each had their own little contained story. And so that single story that I had planned out through the end became basically 12 stories individually. And as I started writing, I kind of molded a few together, made it all work, figured out what went where, who was telling each of those stories, and which perspective kind of served best. And it ended up being, it served better with 10 books. I had somebody complain, Alan, I will blame Alan for all of this, husband, dearest, who is not here to defend himself. He wanted 12 books still, so that each character had its, like, his or her own book and had an even number of books, so 4 each. And I hated that idea. So I molded 2 of the books together and turned into 10 books. And Kahir has the most perspectives. I shaved one of Baden's off. He was my least favorite to write. That is definitely... He was my least favorite character to write. Julia, yes, my favorite character to write was... it had to be Kahir. I mean, she's our badass. Just like she was the creator of the story in my mind. Like, she was the forefront of what I wanted this story to be, and it was always her story from the beginning. And so I think that Kahir specifically was my favorite one to write. Toward the end of the series, there were multiple characters that were introduced later, and I think that her interactions specifically made all of those other characters worthwhile as well. So I think some of my favorite, the reasons why Kahiro is my favorite was because of her interactions with other characters, and specifically her language barrier. So, you know, when we start the story, Rish and Kahiro are the only ones who can speak together. You know, because he has studied her language, so he knows what she's talking, you know, what she's saying. His language is a little shaky. It gets better, which that development was a lot of fun. But with her language barrier with everybody else, and especially as she starts to learn some of the other words, and not entirely, you know, not everything translates. And so we call them word bridges. That's what she calls them, because they don't have a word in Cali for translator. So she is the word bridge, bridging the words between 2 different languages, her and Rish. And her understanding of the language as it develops and she starts to learn some of the other words was way too fun to write. It was just, that became the highlight of every scene that she had with other characters who didn't necessarily speak her language, and she was, you know, trying to communicate with them as best she can. I think my favorite scene in the whole series to write was when Kahir and Rish are trying to understand love. So they're trapped in this cave, and basically all they have left is to talk, and which is hilarious because Kahir starts the story mute, so she doesn't speak. And she kind of just uses like hand signals, and nobody really talks to her anyway. But when we get to the first time we see this is in, it would be the 5th book. The Peace of Cali is when they are for the first time talking about love. And because in Cali, they don't have a name for love. But their version of it is Levia. So that's like you join with somebody in Levia based on duty, based on feelings. It's basically love, but that's not the word that they use. And so like her and Rish's interaction between trying to understand this language barrier, what is love, and their conversations through that is so fun. That whole interaction of her not understanding what word he's trying to use, and then Rish being like, hold up, I don't think I understand my own language anymore, was just an absolute delight to write. And that sort of confusing, hold on, do you understand me? Are we really on the same page here? what exactly is going on anymore. So that, I think, is probably my favorite scene. That was my favorite scene to write in the entire series, I would say. Battle scenes are always like a close second. I really enjoy action, so I have a tripod over there, and so I actually act out all of my fight scenes, because like at some point Kahiro's gonna grow. Like at one point she literally had a third arm and like 15 legs. I don't know how she moved the way she did. But so I take my tripod and I also have bats still, which is great. And so I would wield both of my bats if she had two swords. So I'd have two bats, and I would try to, do all these motions, because, me having a real sword is very dangerous. So I would use the tripod, I would use my bats, and I would act out her scenes and how she was fighting, just to make sure, like, okay, if you block this way, can you, make a move here? How does, all of this work? And studying those sorts of things and what movements humans can actually make. She's also a little bit more flexible than I am. Maybe back in my day, back in my athlete days, I could have competed with her in some aspects, not in all. I can't climb a tree or wield a bow and arrow or any of that. But yeah, so writing those fight scenes are always fun, I think. And then I would say probably for this book specifically, the 10th book, The Balance of the Koliak, which just came out, yay. That one, I think my favorite scene was when I made myself cry. It's a very emotional scene. We think that we kind of see the last of this character, and it's just this really emotional goodbye. And I know I'm breaking my own heart, because like there were pieces of it that were funny, and she's like, she thinks she's gonna die, and so she's like, well, all right, like the soldiers kind of has his sword pointed at her, and he's like, don't go for your sword, don't try to beat me right now, and she's like, well, I'm still gonna try. I think that one, followed by a really gut-wrenching emotional scene, which shame on me for writing such a terrible, I was so mean to my characters, guys, so mean. I don't feel bad about it, but it was fun to write it that way. So that was definitely, I think, my favorite scene of this book that came out today. I did reread it today, so I am fresh. I've got it all. Although the epilogue was quite enjoyable, because we get to see a few more characters and how things have played out after the book has kind of ended, and so we get to see what happens afterwards. What is the aftermath of everything that they've gone through. So they've been through two battles, two big, they fought in this war, characters have survived, characters have died, and so it's quite emotional to see the end of that and see how it all wraps up. And I'm still somewhat in like this just like emotional slump from it, because so I was telling Alan earlier today, the 10th book is out, and in a way it's kind of, that's the end of this story. And so when I finished writing it, specifically when I was done, not even when it was edited, just when I wrote that last word and that was it, I kind of had this like emotional, like, oh gosh, what do I do now? Like, it's over. I've been writing this since before September. So the first book came out in September, and it's like, I've been working on this since September 2020, and it's now May, and the last book is out. It was so hard, because it's just like, oh, it's over. And then, I'm like, okay, well, I have a couple weeks, and then I'm gonna go back and edit the, last book. And so I go back and I edit it. And so then I had another emotional breakdown, because I was like, oh, now it's really over because it's edited and it's done. And then today I'm having another one, because now it's finally out in the world. And so I kind of had like these three separate like breakdowns. Even when the 9th book came out, I was like, oh my God, there's only one more. I had already finished writing it, so it was almost like a mini fourth one. But all of those things that like came out at once, and it was a lot. It was a lot to handle. And I'm still kind of dealing with some of those emotions, because it's like, I'm off writing the next thing, but it's like, I will never write in Kahir's head anymore. I will never write in Rish's head anymore. There's always this potential for, maybe doing a spin-off, doing something in this world, following these characters at a later point, putting them on another adventure, things like that. There's always that sort of opportunity that you know of if I haven't killed any of those main characters. But this is gonna happen. Oh, I knew this was gonna happen. Oh, Mando. Yes, our dog name is Mando. Mando! I can't reach him with this. Cut it out. Yeah. I just sprayed the hallway. Did nothing. Second question. Nickelodeon. Oh, let's try to get Alan if he's watching this. Oh my gosh. He's at trivia right now. The answer is iCarly if he's watching this. And he's not because he can't hear it. It was a Nickelodeon show set in Seattle, with starring Miranda Cosgrove and Jeanette McCurdy, and he's texting me, and he knows that I'm doing this, so clearly he's not gonna get the answer for trivia. So I kicked him out of the house because he was annoying the last time we did this. It's permanently on the internet. Yeah, dog. You go deal with it. All right. Stormy's going to go deal with the dog right now. So yes, it's weird knowing that I'm never going to be in Kahir's head anymore. So that's a little bit tough. Because I started this, but it's really nice. Like it's nice to be done. This is the second series that I finished. I have one more. I'm working on one more, the Star series, which is a spin-off actually of the Soul series, so that will be its own trilogy at least. And then the other book that I'm working on is a high fantasy, high romantic fantasy, swords and all sorts of magic and shit, which is epic. It's awesome. That's gonna be on Kindle Vella. Not sure if what that's gonna turn into. I see multiple books, but I'm still writing it. It is still building in my head, so we will see what happens there. But yeah, the Warrior series kind of started out. I like to challenge myself with each new book that I write. I try to give myself one additional thing to add, to work on, to practice. And so the Warrior series, when I started it was really big on world building and writing some sort of epic, scape over this, over land and things like that. And I even came up with my own language, which is kind of fun. Not an entire language. That would be impossible for my brain. My brain already has too much going on. Too much, trust me. So, yeah, I agree with you. Very much so. So when I got started on this with the world building, it was a lot of fun to kind of create that and do the whole... I have a glossary in the back of each of them. You can also find it on my website, laura-winter.com. I realize that I don't actually... it's in the link in my bio on Instagram. But, yeah, so originally it was Kahir's story, just a single thing. I made up some languages. I used a lot of words. I had a whole glossary, written down in my notebooks from everywhere, even when I scrapped that first thing, the first story that I wrote of it, and then pushed it all into I saved it all, and I reread it and looked over what I needed to save and what needed to go, and kept a lot of that glossary that I had, and all the mythical creatures too that I came up with as well. So we have Sela, the sea monster. We have Kintha, is a mermaid, a Krenya, as they like to call them. We've had many monsters, or mythical creatures, I guess, and monsters. Maybe I take it back. My favorite character to write is Oba, which is a winged cat. If you guys have seen How to Train Your Dragon, basically, I very much originally imagined Oba somewhat similar to Toothless, except the size of a cat, like a stormy size. And so a winged cat that has a poisonous bite. And so I think actually Oba's scenes are my favorite because he's the master of ruining moments, of coming in at the worst times, and just being a general nuisance, which makes him hilarious. And his own personality too. He's just like, he is basically Kahiro's companion, her friend, from the get-go. And he was so much fun to include, and making sure that he had a role to play too in the later books. It wasn't always a challenge, but when you're going into war, you have to figure out how to use a winged cat that is just that size, that no longer has a poison bite. So he's not really all that dangerous anymore. He just thinks he is. He thinks he is like this mountain lion, and he's just a small cat that has wings and can't bite anymore. And so giving him a role to play in the war and the battle and things like that was actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. And finding use for him. There's a scene in both of the books. Two separate scenes. The big one at the end of book 9, and then there's another one towards the end of book 10 where he has a role to play that I didn't see when I first started crafting the story, and kind of having him tag along. He ended up having a bigger role to play than I initially imagined he would, and so that was actually a lot of fun. But yeah, I kind of picture Parky, which is my devil cat, as Oba, who is just great at getting into mischief, great at getting into trouble. He's a turd. Not like you, sweetheart. Not like you. No, you're a sweetheart. Oh my gosh, yeah. So favorite character, Kahir, definitely. Oba was fun to write though. Oba, winged cat, toothless, is just perfection. But yeah, ending a series is, I'm kind of shaking, honestly. It's been a weird day. It's different than finishing a normal book, or even releasing just like a book that's either in the middle or standalone. Because I'm going to have a lot of different emotions. So on May 25th, I'm releasing another book, which a full length start of a series, and it ends on a cliffhanger, which is, oops, sorry. And so it's a lot different to finish this one and to feel something that I've been working on for months and months and months, just kind of not fizzle out, but in a way it's just like that is no longer part of me. It is out in the world, and it's a weird feeling to know that that's over, and to kind of see all of that hard work kind of put together and kind of come out in this pretty package. And I think, to be honest, I really do think that the 10th book is my absolute favorite of all of the books. The 9th book is a close second. I actually really enjoyed that because I got to show battles, but I got to show it from a perspective of somebody who's not a warrior, who's not a fighter, who doesn't understand battle strategy. And so it kind of just showed the whole scene of war and scene of fighting from somebody who's not really all that experienced and doesn't really know what he's doing either. And so, poor Rish, just getting his butt kicked left and right. But he finds his own. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to do that. Let's see. The challenges in writing this was turning it into multiple books. I think the weirdest, so like I was saying, this started out as one book. When I initially crafted it, I had just a single book across. I think one of the biggest challenges with this one, not just turning it into 10 books and figuring out, because each book has its own plot and story that serves the overall arc. And so I think the hardest part, and one of the biggest challenges, was writing it in general, because I had an idea of what I wanted to happen. I had it all plotted out, and that's the first time that I've actually had a full series plotted out to the detail. Like I said, things like Oba's scenes kind of came in the middle of writing, but I knew the story. I knew what each book contained. And so I think the challenge was just I had this world imagined in my head. It was getting it right on paper. And a lot of, the way that I wrote this series was a lot different than how I wrote the Soul series, how I'm writing the Star series, and how I'm writing this next book. In that I knew everything that was going to happen, and it was just getting it right on paper. And so when I was writing these books, I wrote them a lot closer to their finished product than I would say for my other books. So for example, Soul Obscured went through 4 or 5 different rewrites. The only book that went through a complete rewrite for this series was book 1 and 2. So 2 books actually, so plural books. I've been writing all day. Come on, guys. My brain is not fully functional anymore. So yeah, when you're writing something closer to done, it takes a little bit longer to write those books. But at the same time, I knew the story. I knew what was going into it. And so it was a lot different to have that sort of mindset while writing this series. And have this book too. One of the biggest challenges was planning a battle. I've never been in battle. I don't have experience sword fighting. So doing a little bit of research and understanding, okay, what is actually a good battle strategy? How can I use, what I know and what I've read and what I've studied to make this happen and make this work? And so that was actually a whole lot of fun. Music while I'm writing. I'm reading my notes, sorry. Music while I'm writing this series. Oh, that's so fun. That's a really good question. So when I write, normally it depends on what I'm writing, what music I'll listen to. So I'm okay with having background noise. I can't listen to new music or, just like the radio or anything. I need to know the music that's going into it. This one was different because it's a different world. So I was trying to get into this whole forest mindset, and just like what is going on in this mystery world, that I've created. So I actually was listening to the Narnia soundtrack when I was writing this series. It was overplayed. I may have listened. That album somehow became like my top 75 most played songs because I changed my settings to be the top 75 instead of the top 50. The entire album was in my top 75 most played because I just had it on repeat and just like every time. And so, and believe it, I listen to a lot of music. Like my lowest played song is like in the hundreds. I like music. I like to listen to it. And so having the Narnia soundtrack in my top, it's a great soundtrack. Do not get me wrong. Also, it's the second movie's soundtrack, not the first one's okay. The third one's meh. The second one is perfection. So yes, that's what I listened to when I was writing this series specifically. When I'm writing other ones, as long as I know the lyrics and know the songs, I can basically listen to everything, and it's just background noise. It's just a tune out, almost. And so, yeah, that was fun. Oh, this is a fun tidbit about this series. I forgot to mention this earlier. So, I have on my blog, on my Fiction Friday blog, there's 5 things you didn't know about the Warrior series. I talk about mythical creatures. I talk about some of the glossary and things like that. One of my favorite happy mistakes, because we're all Bob Ross and we don't make mistakes. We make, happy accidents? But yeah, so one of my happy accidents is so I was talking about Kahiro's language barrier earlier, and one of the things when I was writing her books, my brain process of how I have to write her language, because there aren't contractions, they don't have certain words, and trying to figure out how she would say certain phrases it's a lot different than how you and I would speak. And so when I started writing hers, my mindset, I keep wiping my face because I have hair, like cat hair. I do apologize. But how I started writing hers, my brain started working in the wrong direction. So I started thinking with her thoughts. And so my own language somewhat struggled. But one of my happy accidents was every time I wanted to write Rish, which is Rish is how you spell his name. My fingers did not want to listen to my brain. And so my fingers just automatically, instead of writing Rish, it would write fish. And don't get me started on how many times I spelled fish wrong. At one point it was furch, because apparently birch and furch became fish. But when I was writing Rish's name, only when I was in Kahir's perspective did I spell his name wrong. And so his name became Fish, and I was like, okay, how many times do I need to go back and change this? And I just kind of had this just epiphany moment of, oh my gosh, language barrier means, and so instead of Kahir saying his name correctly, she always calls him Fish, and that just becomes his nickname. And oh my gosh, I discovered that towards the end of the series, the way that she uses it in such an endearing way, it made my own heart melt, because, everybody needs a relationship like Rish and Kahir. It was just so perfect. And so I was so thankful that I actually ended up keeping a lot of his nicknames. So, when she first uses it, it's kind of a little bit derogatory, because, he says, her little children, the innocent lives, are in danger, and she doesn't really know. He's going to help her when they first meet, but she doesn't really trust him yet. And so, he says, my name is Rish, and she goes, whatever, Fish. And he's like, no, Rish. And he thinks that she just can't understand how he said his name. And she goes, I know exactly I'm not stupid. I know exactly what your name is. I'm not calling you that until you deserve it. And so she starts calling him Fish as a joke, and I rolled with it, and it became such an endearing part of their relationship and how I wrote those two together. And I'm so thankful that I accidentally wrote Fish instead of Rish in the second book. Or the second book was the first time she called him that. No, it happened in the first one. But we don't understand why she's called him Fish in the first book, because we don't have their perspective. So the second book, when we discover why she's called him Fish, I had way too much fun with that. And so at the end of this series, I found a way. I was like, I need to make sure that there are enough endearing terms of fish included in this that it just kind of feels complete. And you're just like, oh yes, I remember that she calls him Fish because she loves him. And it's just really sweet. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, let's see. Will anything come after this series, like a spin-off? Not for a while, maybe. I've got some. I'll go into the second question, which is what is currently in the works. Just because that's kind of included. I don't have any plans, I think, for anything more on this series specifically. I do love it. I really do. But I think that it wrapped up really nicely. And not that I'm afraid to touch it again, because there are so many different options and so many different ways I could continue this, start a different world, interact in different parts of it as well. I've introduced a few characters that could do really well with their own books. But yeah, for right now, I don't necessarily have anything planned for a spin-off. I do kind of have a few ideas for like an anniversary edition. Hi Kaylee. I do have an idea maybe for an anniversary edition of this and doing like this super long epic full collection with a few like deleted scenes that I've taken out of some of the other books. Maybe that would be a lot of fun, but specifically I don't necessarily have anything planned in the near future for the Warrior series or for any of these characters specifically. Because I'm also working on 2 other books right now. So like I said earlier, I'm really, my pride and joy spin-off series of the Soul series is the Star series. I know it gets so confusing. So Star Collapsed is my baby. Oh my goodness. I am super, super, super proud of that story. That is coming May 25th. So just 2 weeks. Oh my God, 2 weeks. I gotta get my shit together. Fuck. I derailed myself on that one. 2 weeks. And the Star Collapse comes out. It is my baby. I am love. Everything that I work on, like whatever I'm currently working on, becomes my favorite project. That one is coming out May 25th. I love it. There's still room on my ARC team. If you guys want to get a free copy and review that book before May 25th, you can find the link in I always say show notes because I've been doing podcasts. No, in the link in my bio, you can find the link to join my ARC team and get that copy and review it. So you can read it for free. It's not out yet, and you can read it still, which is awesome. So I'm working on the sequel for that one. Yes, Kaylee, if you want to read it, download it, get that going. I need the reviews, guys. It really, really, really helps. So yes, there's also, you can review, you can get Soul Forgotten for free, you can get a short story for free, and you can get the first book in the Warrior series for free to review. They're all review copies, so ideally you review. Obviously I can't require it of you, but they're a lot of fun. And so you can get all those books for free in exchange for an honest review, which is really nice. It really helps us out. Also, if you're interested, the first 3 books, it is called The Innocent Collection on Amazon, is a collection of the first 3 books that is free today until the 13th. So the 11th through the 13th. The first 3 books are absolutely free. The Warrior Collection, which has books 4 through 7, is 99 cents until May 17th. So you can get the first 7 books for 99 cents, which is a steal. So thank you for robbing me. No, I'm just kidding. If you do, I would love it if you left a review as well there. But yes, so my baby, Star Collapsed, is coming May 25th. I am currently writing the sequel to that, the second book, the follow-on. I am also working on a brand new project, tentatively called The Curse of Broken Shadows. It will be an epic high fantasy romance story, magic. We got swords, we've got lots of butchering and slashing, and we got an assassin. It's basically Throne of Glass meets the Shadows and Crowns series by S.M. Gaither. So if you guys are interested in that, that is going to be on Kindle Vella, which is a new serialized format. So as I'm writing it, as I'm working on it, I'm basically treating it like the Warrior series, where I edit as I go. And it is close to done, close to perfection as I'm writing it, and I will be releasing that on Kindle Vella whenever that kind of becomes available. I believe so. Amazon hasn't actually given a date as to when Kindle Vella comes out, or when they're going to start publishing those stories or putting them live. We're kind of assuming that it's toward the end of June. Which is, just another month. But until then, you can also join my newsletter and get the first 2 chapters for free. Just for joining my newsletter, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, free books, 99-cent books. That is great. I did have a couple questions come in for my newsletter from Dana that are not included in the Warrior series questions. How long is my to be read list? There is no length. It is infinite. I don't have a final answer. Too many. I'm reading 3 books at the same time, and I'm writing 2. I don't know how my brain does it, but I can't, I have to have multiple things going on in my head. So I'm currently reading Kingdom of Ash, so that's the last book in the Throne of Glass series. A Court of Silver Flames, just downloaded to my library. And so I'm desperate to start that. I binged the first 4 books. Is this the 5th one, technically? Whatever that middle. The 4th one was like a short. It was a shorter. It was like a novella. And I'm also arc reading Under Black Skies by Claire Sager, which, if you guys haven't read the Beneath Black Sails series by her, holy shit, get on it now. That one was so good. Oh, it's so good. Also, S.M. Gaither's high fantasy series, Shadows and Crowns, and then I think it's Serpents and she has another series that lives in the same world S.M. Gaither does. That other series is also very good. It has something to do with serpents and kings, and I have too many books going on in my head that I can't remember what the series name is called. But yeah, I've been reading the Throne of Glass series. I've been reading the Court series by Sarah J. Maas. I hope that's how you spell her or say her name. I learned it all from Bookstagram. Thank you. But yeah, that's what we have going on, or what I have going on in my head. But yes, Queen. She is just getting all the loving tonight. But yeah, that is all pretty much I have. Warrior Series wrap party. It's over. It's over. I'm so sad. It's just my baby Kahiro. She went through the ringer, man. From that first book to the last book. I guess I could announce when I do the collection of the final 3 books, it will be the Guardian collection. So I thought that was super important. We went from Innocent to Warrior to Guardian, for what was originally going to be a single book called The Innocent Named Warrior, which you guys know is the second book in this series, the title of the second book. I had to include that title somewhere. Sorry, I need more tequila. This is a margarita. It was actually really gross. The pre-made mix was really nasty, so we mixed a bunch of stuff in it, and now it's tolerable. It's actually very good now. Tells you how much I've been drinking already. I get nervous. For this. But yes, announcements. The Kindle Vella story, the epic fantasy, has been so much fun. I'm giddy about it. I've been writing that on today. So I'm excited. Star Collapse coming May 25th. And, I'm doing a Soul Series giveaway. So signed paperbacks for the US. So I have the first, Soul Forgotten is the first one, Soul Remembered, Soul Obscured. So if you are in the US, I'm doing a signed paperback giveaway as a thank you and a celebration, because on May 27th, just 2 days after I release Star Collapsed, I'm celebrating the 2-year anniversary of my debut novel, Soul Forgotten. I've lost count of how many books. I believe Star Collapsed will be my 22nd title released in 2 years, which is insane. I think I released 16 last year, and many of which happened toward after May-ish, into December. But yes, 2 years of publishing since I started this. Started out writing that book, and now I am basically celebrating the 2 years by writing a spin-off of the series that started it all, that started this writing journey, that created, 1 series, 2 series, maybe a 3rd. It started this whole journey, and I am so, so, so proud of it. So yes, I'm doing a giveaway. You can, in my, the link in my bio, you can enter to win. It's all run by King Sumo, not affiliated with Instagram or anything like that. I don't know if I have to say that. There's so many rules about giveaways and things like that. But yes, you can get signed paperbacks there. The winner will be announced on May 25th, May 26th. There's a calendar behind me. That's what I'm looking at. I believe I'll announce it the 26th. I'm so excited. So if you guys want signed paperback copies of that, I have so excited. I am really excited for that new series. I'm also really excited for this fantasy that I'm writing. And I'm also really excited for all the books that I'm reading. I don't know how I do it. I read 16 books, 13 books last month. 1 month, I read 13 books. One of them was a novella, but it was still like 50,000 words. I've signed up to be like an arc reader on like 3 other books. I don't know how I do it. It's insane. I'm proud of it though. I'm quite proud of it because I'm still writing 2 books at the same time. But yes, I think the rest of the Star series, I have at least a trilogy planned. Depending on how the action rolls out, it probably won't be more, but it'll be 3 books at the very minimum. So with the Soul series, you guys know I always did a playlist they're involved in the books. So you see like the songs, and which is hilarious because I had a friend tell me she thought that I made up the songs and the bands. She didn't realize that they were actually real, which, she didn't listen to that music. I didn't expect some people to really know the difference there. But yes, there is a playlist for the Soul series. It is not explicitly in the Star series. I don't actually list the songs. However, there is a playlist. I am releasing it on Friday. So this Friday is the 15th. No, it's the 14th. I can't read my own handwriting. Because apparently a 4 and a 5 look the same. So on the 14th, you will get that playlist in my blog, as well as the chapters that they're associated with. So, sometimes the Soul series had multiple songs for a chapter. But with this playlist, I have it all listed out. I have explanations as to why I picked those songs for each chapter and what they kind of meant and why specifically I chose it for those chapters. I have so many texts. Dad, I haven't responded to you today because I've been preparing for this Instagram Live and writing all of these questions that my father didn't even bother to sign up for or look at, even though I announced it multiple times. I can't wait to send this video to them and just... My parents love me, I swear. They buy all my books. That's all that matters. They can't review, though. That does suck. They can buy it, but they can't review it because they're related to me, and Amazon knows everything. And so you can't review your own books, which, I'd give them all 5 stars. Papa Winter is in trouble. So is Mama Winter. Mama Winter hopped on last time, and it's just rude. Yeah, so that's all. That is, yeah. You can't review when you're family. It sucks. And I don't even have their last name anymore, which is just shame. Oh well. But yeah, so that is all I have. That's the end of the Warrior series. Series wrap party. I'm getting drunk. That's all I'm doing. That's all this is. I don't even know how to end this. Last time I ran out of time. He kicked me out. You want to say bye, Stormy? Yeah. But that's all I have. Go buy. The first 3 books are free as the Innocent Collection. You can find that link on Amazon or in my bio. It's on Amazon. And books 4 through 7, the Warrior Collection. Okay, you're really going. Is 99 cents until the 17th. The Innocent Collection is only free until the 13th, so be sure you jump on that. Yes, it's only the ebooks. Sorry, I still have to, if you want the paperback, you can buy that too if you really want. But yeah, so it'll be 99. The second one, collection 4 through 7, books 4 through 7 is 99 cents. So jump on that deal. You can get 7 books. 7 books. You're welcome. And you can get Star Collapsed. If you pre-order it, it is only $2.99 on release date. It will go up to $4.99. Trying to help you guys out here. But also keep an eye out for that. Got lots of fun things, guys. I'm so excited. The Warrior series is over, baby. But it'll be a couple months before I give the Guardian collection a paperback. So keep your eyes out for that. And of course, if you follow me on Instagram, there will be plenty of announcements about that as well. And fun things, fun looks, and what I'm working on. So thank you guys for joining. Specifically you, Julia, because you stuck around, you little turd. Love ya. Love ya. Bye, guys. Yes, I want to end now.